How you guys doing? This is Javier Vasquez, and this is my Week 8 review, as well as my predictions for the games that are upcoming today. So on Thursday, we had the Patriots routing the Dolphins 36 to 7. As I'm looking here, Tom Brady was 26 of 38 for 356 yards, 4 touchdowns. LeGarrette Blount, the leading rusher, with 17 carries for 72 yards, 4.2 a carry, and the leading receiver was the Gronk, with 6 catches for 113 yards and a touchdown. I thought this game was very entertaining, although it was a rout all throughout. The Dolphins were going into this game having scored 82 points in the last 2 games. They were held to 7 points total, which I thought was an outstanding job by the Patriots defense. I look for the Dolphins to continue to improve under Dan Campbell, but definitely not their week. Currently, as we speak, we have the Kansas City Chiefs routing the Detroit Lions in London 45 to 10. This game right here I predicted would be a little more competitive, but as we can tell, Matthew Stafford is struggling this year, and Calvin Johnson has definitely fell off. He's not the same player as he used to be. Alex Smith came on late in the second half, and he's 18 of 26, 145 yards and 2 touchdowns. So definitely a game that the Chiefs would need. I do feel like their season is all but over, but they're still playing hard for Andy Reid, and that's something that you can commend. Following that game, we have Tampa Bay and Atlanta starting at 1. This game right here could be a surprise. I think Tampa Bay has the potential to beat Atlanta because Atlanta has struggled recently as of late. They lost to the Saints, and they barely beat the Tennessee Titans with Zach Mettenberger, of all people. So I think I'm going to roll with the Falcons on this one, but it's going to be more competitive than the records would indicate. I'll go with Atlanta 24, Tampa Bay 21. Late field goal gets it done. Julio Jones is an absolute stud. Following that game, we have San Diego and Baltimore. I do believe that San Diego will get back on track and win this game. Baltimore has not looked good this year at all. Outside of Steve Smith Sr., they really don't have many receiving weapons whatsoever. So I definitely will pick San Diego to win this game, in a competitive fashion. I will say it'll be 28 to about 20, 28 to 20. That sounds pretty realistic to me right there. Following that game, we have Minnesota and Chicago. This one right here is a pretty tricky game because Chicago has been somewhat more competitive than people expect. John Fox is an excellent coach in his own right. But I'm going to roll with Minnesota, the 4-2, a quiet 4-2. Vikings will pull this one out. Low scoring, they win ugly. I will go 19 to 17. Next, we have Arizona and Cleveland. This one to me is pretty easy for me to pick. I think Arizona is just a very, very complete team. Chris Johnson's having an excellent comeback season, and Carson Palmer as well. So I'm definitely going to roll with the Cardinals to win this one in a pretty dominating fashion. I'll say 31 to about 13. Next, this one's a pick 'em right here, just because the teams are so bad. We have Tennessee and Houston. No Mariota today, so I give Houston the edge. I'll say Houston wins 21-17. I think that's pretty convincing, although O'Brien's defense has struggled mightily, as we know. Okay, and next we have another unpredictable game. We have the Giants in New Orleans. It just depends on which Giants team will show up. They have the offense to get it done. But I do believe New Orleans, after coming off of the victory against Indy, they are on a roll in some ways. They looked pretty good. Mark Ingram averaged about 10 yards per carry last week. So I look for the Giants to continue to struggle against the run as they let McFadden go for over 140. So I think New Orleans wins this game about 30 to 23. That sounds pretty good to me right there. Next, a great game right here. We have Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. The return of Big Ben Roethlisberger taking on the undefeated Bengals. The Pittsburgh Steelers are at home, and this game right here will be highly, highly interesting to watch. I do believe Cincinnati will pull it off, but it will be a close one. It will be a cardiac cat kind of game for the Bengals. I believe they will pull it off. along the lines of 28-25 by field goal. I'll give them a field goal victory. Next, we have San Francisco and the Rams. This one to me is pretty simple for me. I think the Rams will dominate this game up front. Colin Kaepernick has struggled mightily this year. His mechanics have regressed. He's regressed totally as a passer. They're not allowing him to get out of the pocket and scramble the way he used to. I do believe Todd Gurley will run wild, as Marshawn Lynch did last Thursday. So I will give them this victory, albeit in a closer game than most people imagine, because the Rams don't really pull away from anybody. I will say they win this game 19-14. Next, we have the New York Jets at Oakland. This is going to be a good game. The Jets have a very solid defense, as we both know, and Oakland is coming off of an outstanding game in which they throttled the San Diego Chargers. Amari Cooper, absolute stud. Derek Carr is playing great football right now. Latavius Murray, definitely a good running back, but I feel like Fitzpatrick has been very efficient this year, and they will get this victory along the lines of 25-19. Next on the America's game, the 4:25 primetime game, we have Seattle and Dallas. This one to me would be a great game if Romo were healthy, and I know Dez is coming back, but I don't look for him to get many snaps. He will be on a limited snap count, so I do believe the Legion of Boom, so to speak, will boom Matt Castle. He will struggle in this game, and I believe that secondary will feast on him, the D-line, those linebackers, and they'll get that victory. Pretty competitive game still, but 23-13 is what I think. The Russell Wilson Seahawks on offense, they're not exactly blowing anyone out. The offensive line has been pretty bad this year, so I definitely look for it to be a close game, but Seattle will eventually pull away. Okay, Sunday night game, we have Green Bay at Denver. This one to me is probably the game of the week. Two undefeated teams going up against each other. Peyton Manning has struggled mightily this year. The Broncos defense is absolutely amazing. I mean, these guys are playing at a level that I haven't seen their team play since the Monsters of the Midway. It's ridiculous what they're doing right now. Their corners are probably the best tandem of corners in the league right now, with Chris Harris Jr. and Aqib Talib, Von Miller coming off the edge. DeMarcus Ware is playing this game. So Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback, as we both know, but he's not going to have it easy, especially without Jordy Nelson. He's not going to have it easy in this game, but I look for this to be a late field goal game. I will go 21-18, and I'll give it to Green Bay to get that win. And finally, our Monday night game, we have the Indianapolis Colts, who are struggling very mightily as well, taking on the Carolina Panthers. I believe the Panthers will throttle this game. They'll win this game. They'll control the clock, as they usually do. They will play outstanding defense, and Andrew Luck will struggle against Kwan Short, who's playing amazing football. Josh Norman will check T.Y. Hilton completely out of the game, I feel like. Andre Johnson has not been himself. Frank Gore has done very well lately, but I still think against that defense and the running game of the Panthers with Jonathan Stewart and the ever-immaculate Cam Newton, I think this game will definitely come down to the wire, but I will give Carolina the victory 24-14. And this concludes my Week 8 reviews. I hope you guys have a good one. Take care.